Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastoma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We will together chant the ATMA SHATKAM. Tankara Chitnitani Naham Na cha Shrotra Jihve Na cha Krana Netre Na cha Vyoma Bhumir Na Tejo Na Vayu Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Nacha prana sangyo na pankanja payu Nava sapta dhatur nava pancha kosha Navak pani padau Nachopasta payu Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Na punye dvesha rago na melo moho Matsarya bhava Na dharmo na charto Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Napyam na papam na saukyam na dukkam Na mantro na tirtham na veda na yajna Aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhokta Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Napyed Mrityu Shankana Me Jati Bheta Viptanaiva Me Naiva Mata Na Janma Na bandhu na mitram Guru naiva sheshya Chidanandarupa Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandarupa, Shivoham, Shivoham, Naham Nirvikalpo Nirakara Rupo, Vipuryapya Sarvatra Sarvendriyani, Sada me samatvam namuktirna bandha, Anandarupa, Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandarupa, Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandarupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. The ATMA SHATKAM, the 6 verses or 6 mantras on Atma, the self, summarizes or boils down to the entire spiritual practices, our sadhana, to 2 simple exercises, 2 simple practices, abhyasa in Sanskrit. They are the assertion of reality, the truth, the nobility, the positive, and negation of the illusion, the unreality. This is not only to achieve the path, achieve the ultimate purpose of our existence, that is to discover ourselves, but even relatively to achieve even a worldly goal, to achieve a secular goal that you have. The process is the same thing. That is the assertion and negation. If your focus is always upon the negative, you become that. You can say, let's say you want to be wealthy, let's say a mundane achievement. You can say, I want to be wealthy, which is the positive part of it. Or you can say, I don't want to be poor. If your focus is only upon, I don't want to be poor, the chances of you initiating an action plan towards gaining financial freedom is limited, rather rare. Whereas when your focus is upon the positive, that is assertion, I want to be wealthy, your action plan, your mood for working towards that goal will be much stronger. Now apply the very same principle here in our spiritual path. Negation of what you're not and assertion of what you are. You find in these 6 verses, 6 mantras on Atma, Atma Shatakam, every single verses every single verse here, Shankara is asserting the real. Whereas the negation of the real, each verse is talking about one or two aspects of it. So the two exercises, each verse, as you can read, concludes by the assertion or the affirmation, Shivoham, Shivoham, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. Now, who is Shiva? Where is Shiva? What is Shiva? It is the source of everything. It is the originator, the progenitor of everything. Because whatever we are seeking in the world, that is Shiva. What are we seeking? We are seeking happiness. We know that. We are seeking power. We are seeking knowledge, seeking love, seeking wealth, seeking bliss. Whatever that we are seeking, he is the ultimate. He is ultimate in all those. Therefore, he says, Shivoham, Shivoham. But at the moment, as I discussed with you last class, we are conditioned, we are brainwashed to believe something that we are not. As a result, our focus of attention is always upon what we are not. And what are we not? The body, the mind, the intellect, and the ego. That is what we are not. But yet our focus of attention is always upon those four. As a result, we are affected by the fluctuations of the world. As I mentioned to you the other day, just to reiterate the analogy that we discussed, the analogy of iron and magnet. Just to refresh your memory, if I were to bring a wooden piece closer to the magnet, there is no attraction. If I keep the wooden piece aside and bring an iron piece near the magnet, it attracts, the magnet attracts the iron piece. But if I were to tie the wooden piece together with the iron piece, and if I bring the combination of wood and iron closer to the magnet attracts the combination. Now, even when the combination is attracted by the magnet, the wooden piece still remains unattracted. But because of its association with the wood, because of the wood piece association with the iron piece, the wood piece also looks attracted towards the magnet, but it remains unaffected. So what is the wooden piece? Wooden piece is the Atman, the spirit within. And what is the iron piece? Iron piece is your body, mind, intellect, and the ego. And what is the magnet? Magnet is the world. The world will affect the magnet attracts the metal, the iron. Similarly, the world will affect the body, the mind, the intellect, and the ego, and not yourself, the divinity. But because of our continuous focus of attention is upon the body, mind, and intellect, we believe that we are the body. When the body goes through heat or cold, you say, I am hot, I am cold, but in actual fact, it is the body that is hot or cold. When your mind goes through happiness or unhappiness, we say, I am happy, I am unhappy. In actual fact, it is the mind that is happy or unhappy. Similarly, when you say, I am intelligent or I am dull, it is your intellect that is intelligent or dull. You are neither intelligent nor dull. You are neither happy nor unhappy. You are neither hot nor cold. You are neither honor or dishonor with reference to the ego. Then who are you? Who am I? Shivoham, Shivoham, the infinite that remains unaffected by all these fluctuations. So that is the Shankara's effort here to decondition. We are brainwashed to believe that. It is a process of dehypnotization. We are in a hypnotic phenomena with that belief. So in the second verse, he says, neither am I prana, na cha prana samyo, na why panchavayu. I am not the five vital layers, the five pranas, prana, apana, samana, udana, and vyana. We discussed what they are. Those are the five involuntary functions. In the previous verse, he spoke about the voluntary organs, the organs of perceptions and organs of action. Those are the voluntary organs. You have a conscious choice, conscious control over it. The involuntary functions, you do not have any conscious control over it. And that is the ingenuity of the designer of this fantastic equipment, machinery, whoever designed it. You can call God, you can call Brahma, you can call Krishna, you can call Shiva, you call what you want, but the truth is that whoever designed this incredibly potent equipment called human personality has done an ingenious job, because the vital functions of the body, you do not have control over it. He keeps the control. Like the functioning of the heart, you don't have a conscious control over it, because he understands our stupidity. And if he had given us the control of the function of the heart, we would have made a mess of it. Suppose we forget to operate it, finished. He didn't give us the control. Vital function. The functioning of the liver, he didn't give us the control. He keeps the control. Who? Shiva. Make sure that it functions properly. We only make mess of it. The functioning of the pancreas, functioning of the digestive system, he controls it. You don't have any choice over it, because if he gave us the control, we would have made a mess of it. Our stupidity. So the involuntary functions are those functions that are involuntary. That means you are not conscious of it, it happens. Who does it? We don't know. To that supreme power we call G-O-D, God, and to that supreme providence, my gratitude, my salutations. Shivoham. And then he says, sevenfold material, saptadadhu, 7 elements with which the body is made of, which includes rasa, which is plasma, blood, which is rakta, rakta means blood, mamsa, that is flesh, meda, the fat, which we don't like, we're desperately trying to get rid of, but it's very difficult to get rid of, and asti, asti means bone, majja, the marrow, and shukra, the seminal fluid. These are the sapta dhatu. I'm none of those. Neither am I pancha prana, the 5 sheath. What are the 5 sheath? The 5 layers of the human personality. The 5 layers of the human personality are the annamaya kosha, the pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, and anandamaya kosha. The 5 layers of the human personality. I'm sure you can see it on your screen. The 5 layers of human personality. In Vedanta, the personality is divided into the 5 layers. At the outset, you have the annamaya kosha, which is the food sheath. The first layer is the food sheath. Why is it called food sheath? The food sheath includes the 10 organs of perception, 5 organs of perception called jnanendriyas, through which you receive stimuli from the world, and the 5 organs of action called karmendriyas, through which you respond back to the world. And all the involuntary function that we just discussed, that is the food sheath. Annam means food. Now, why is it called food sheath? our gross body, the physical body? Because the physical body originates from food, it is sustained by food, and eventually it ends up as food. It originates from food. And where does food originate from? Where does food come from? You might say your wife cooks it. Where does your wife get it from? Oh, very simple, she gets it from the supermarket. Where does supermarket gets it from? From the farmers. From the farmers? You mean the farmer whole night sits and manufacture the potatoes, onions, tomatoes, bindi, and all those vegetables? No. Where does the farmer gets it from? The farmer plants the seed, and then what does he do? He puts manure. Because if you plant the same seed in the hot sand of Arabia, it will not grow. It has to be planted in a soil that is fertile, and you got to add manure. Otherwise, it will grow, but there's no fruit it produces. So you put manure, and what is manure? Cow dung. Those days they use cow dung, which is the best organic manure. That's why the cattle were the closest ally friend of people in India. That's one of the reasons we worship cow. There are many other reasons also. So what are we eating? Cow dung, isn't it? So the gross body originates from food, and it is sustained by food. It's a fact. Some of you are grinning. We are eating cow dung. It's a fact. It's a modified version of cow dung. Therefore, don't eat too much. The food that we're eating, I'm talking about. All right. You can replace the word dung with something else. Then you will feel even more obnoxious. All right. So the gross body is originating from food. It is sustained by food. Is there a question for me? I can see somebody's hand. Somebody put up the hand. Is that accident, or you have a question? You can pause the question if you do. Satnam? Oh, all right. You're just saying hello to us. All right. You must just, I'm sure if you're not familiar, there is an option in your app to raise your hand to pose your question. So it reflects on my screen and I can get the attention to you. All right. So to originated from food, sustained by food, if you want to maintain the body, you got to consume the right type of food at the right time. Wrong food at the wrong time, at the wrong places, the body degenerates and it ends up as food. When we die, that is when the virus and bacteria. So the job of the virus and bacteria is to decompose the body and merge it back to nature. They play a very important role. The bacteria, the organisms inside your body and the organisms outside the body. The anu is the bacteria, the virus. All right. The job is to decompose. They play a very important role. So don't always negate or despise virus and bacteria, because if we don't have them, nothing will decompose. They play a role. And there is a theory that is floating around. If you don't have dirt in your body, if you don't have things that are useless in the body, you're not susceptible to any infection, including COVID-19. So therefore, eat the right type of food to sustain the body. It is the wrong type of food when we consume. We destroy our immunity. We destroy the body's natural ability to fight any diseases. Remember, the physical body on its own, it is the greatest pharmacy. It is the most powerful laboratory on the face of earth. It produces all the chemicals that the body needs to fight any diseases, but because of our unhealthy habits, we destroy that food sheath. The second layer is the vital air sheath, which is called pranamaya kosha. Vital air sheath. Those are the 5 pranas that we discussed before. And it is related to air, respiration, all those. The third layer of our personality is manomaya kosha. That is the mental sheath. Mental sheath contains our emotions and desires and likes and dislikes, etc. Then you have vijnanamaya kosha, which is intellectual sheath, which is the faculty of reasoning, thinking, decision. And then the last layer is the bliss sheath, the anandamaya kosha, which is the causal body or the subconscious mind. None of these 5 layers, that is what he's saying. I am not the pancha kosha. I am not the 5 layers. Then who am I? Shivoham, Shivoham. I am Atma. I am the Supreme Self. I am the Supreme Reality. So discover that Supreme Reality. That, he says, is our purpose. I'm not the 5 elements. Then what am I? I am not the speech, nor hands, not organs of excretion or procreation. I am the form of consciousness, bliss. I am Shiva. I am Shiva. Here, the second part of the verse, he is actually negating the organs of action, karmendriyas. So, I am Shiva, that divinity. That is the emphasis here. And then he continues the discussion in the third verse. Mato naiva me naiva matsarya bhava na dharmo na chaksho na kamo na moksha chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. He says, I am not aversion, name dvesha, name raga. Raga dvesha. It is an idiomatic construction that is often used in the Shastras, especially in the Bhagavad-Gita. There is a regular reference to raga dvesha. They are attachment and aversions. They are likes and dislikes. Name dvesha rago, name lobha. I am not greed. I am not moha. I am not delusion. Mada. I am not pride. Na eva matsarya. I am not jealousy or envy. I would say matsarya is jealousy. Na dharma, na artha, na kama, na moksha. He talks about, he negates the 4 purusharthas of human. I'll explain what they are. I am the form of consciousness bliss. I am Shiva. I am Shiva. I am Sat Chit Ananda. I am that supreme auspicious being. So raga dvesha, likes and dislikes. When you go to the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, which is entitled Karma Yoga, the yoga of action, Bhagavan Krishna describes the raga dvesha, the likes and dislikes, as the worst enemy of human being. Worst enemy. He uses 3 strong, powerful words, negative words, to describe how destructive, how deadly the likes and dislikes are, which humanity as a whole are not aware of. He says Shatru. Shatru means foe. Nitya Vairi. Raga Dvesha is your Nitya Vairi. Nitya means permanent or perpetual. Vairi means enemy. Likes and dislikes are your Nitya Vairi, perpetual enemy. Then he uses the word Paripanthino. Paripanthino in Sanskrit means deadly foe. Raga Dvesha is your Paripanthino, deadly foe. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, you got to think very carefully to understand that we identify ourselves. We are so caught up with our own likes and dislikes. And we continuously pamper our likes and dislikes, meaning within our own system, we are constantly pampering our likes and dislikes. I'll tell you how. In fact, one of the worst parenting exercise that the parents do is pampering their children's likes and dislikes. In the name of affection, in the name of love for your child, what did we do? We constantly pampered their likes and dislikes. You like the food, have it. Don't like it, don't eat it. In fact, many parents are in the popularity contest. That is, they're afraid that they become unpopular in the eyes of the children. As a result, because they don't want to become unpopular in the eyes of the children, they have a tendency to give them whatever they want. They constantly fulfill their demands because they're afraid if you don't, they would dislike them. In a family, let's say if there are 3 children, and in the morning, when the mother needs to get herself organized to go to work, the 3 children like 3 types of food. What do you like? What do you like? What do you like? And the child says, I don't like cereal. Appreciate the children not liking cereal because that's not the best food to eat. Maybe the easiest food to eat, but not the best food to eat. And you continuously pamper their likes and dislikes, and then she is so much under pressure to prepare something that each one of them like. I'm not saying that you must provide them what they don't like. That's not what I'm saying. You put yourself under pressure because you have pampered the children's likes and dislikes. You like it, have it. You don't like it, don't eat it. And problem is that much later, when the children grow up to be a young adult, when they want to make decisions of their own, I'm talking about crucial decisions, the decisions that impact their entire life, like choosing a career, choosing a partner, choosing to buy a house, choosing to have a child. Some of the most important decisions in life, they make based on likes and dislikes. You ask a girl or a boy who's planning to get married. He says, and the boy says, I love her. Why do you want to get married to her? Because I just like her. He says, I love her, but it's far from love. It is actually infatuation. I just like her, and vice versa. The rationality gets drowned in the ocean of likes and dislikes, unable to use their thinking. Choosing a job, choosing a career, all the important decisions they do based on their likes and dislikes. We constantly pamper. Therefore, it is very essential for parenting to feed the children with a very important vitamin, which many children lack adversely. That is the vitamin N. Many children lack vitamin N. The parents did not provide vitamin N. Perhaps you may not have heard of vitamin N. All the other A, B, C, D vitamins you heard. Vitamin N is, you did not say no to the children. Vitamin N is no. You're afraid when you say no, the children will be displeased and they throw tantrum. When the children throw tantrum, you yield to their pressure. And the children are very clever. They know that if I throw tantrum, the mother will yield or the father will yield. And they're clever. They use that weakness against you. So the pampering of your likes and dislikes, that is why Krishna calls it worst enemy. Now, there are about 6 things you got to remember when it comes to your likes and dislikes. All right? The 6 things that you got to remember when it comes to your likes and dislikes are, number 1, what you like is detrimental to you invariably, and what you dislike is invariably good for you. The problem with the likes and dislikes is that what is really good for you, you don't like it, and what is actually detrimental, you love it. And there is also a theory that I've heard that if you have a special attraction for food, there you got to check. For example, the diabetics invariably love sweetness, sugar. If you have a special attraction or cravings for fried food, watch your body, cholesterol maybe. What you like is not necessarily what is good for you, and what is actually good for you, you don't like it. Problem number 1. That is the problem with the likes and dislikes. If what is actually good for you, you like it, and what is actually bad for you, you dislike it. If that was the case, none of us would have problems in life. None of us would suffer from ill health. We will not have problems. The problem is because we have the choice. We like what is actually detrimental to us. We dislike what is actually good for us. I am talking not only in terms of the material objects like food or other things, even relationship. The people who are our real benefactor, the people who are our real benefactors, we don't like our benefactors. But the people who are actually detrimental to us, we love them. We like people who are actually detrimental to us. Why? Because they pamper our ego. They massage our ego. They boost our ego. They say nice things about us. And we think they are our benefactors. They may have a hidden agenda. But those people who are forthright, cut and right, tell you as it is, not mincing words. Such people have no hidden agenda. That's why they are forthright. But we don't like them. We don't like people who are forthright. What is good for us, we don't like it. What is actually detrimental for us, we love it. Therefore, he says, Raga Dvesha is our worst enemy, our deadly foe. Number one. Number two, what you like, run away from you, and what you dislike, chase after you. That's the truth. What you like, your likes and dislikes is like your shadow. The more you run after the shadow, the further it recedes. Ignore the shadow. Walk towards the sun. The shadow will follow you. So the second problem with the likes and dislikes, Raga Dvesha, is that what you like run away from you, and what you dislike chase you. If you don't like a particular kind of food, wherever you go, that will appear in front of you. I remember when I came to South Africa, many years, that's about 20 years ago. My first visit was to come and deliver discourses. I came to South Africa to spend about a month or two. Ended up spending several months eventually. I couldn't go back. Not that I couldn't, they didn't let me go. So they didn't let me go. It's not that government was preventing something, it's not that, but the community was so much in interest. So I decided to spend a little extra time. That time, I was not married. I was happier. All right. So I get invited, what they call, what do you call, Bhiksha, when a speaker or a guru, they invite the speaker, the guru, to their house for dinner. And I'm used to the Indian cuisine, Indian cuisine, not the South African cuisine. And I was expecting the usual idli, sambar, or dosa, or rice, dal, all those kind of things. The first house, somewhere in Chatsworth. Meal was potato, rice, white roti. We are used to the brown roti that we eat in India, and gadra beans. I ate it, or pretended to be eating, and left the house. And usually it is about 7 days lectures. The meal is in 7 different houses, and of course, between my bedroom to the dining room, it's about 1 hour drive, wherever it is. Because after the meal, you have to drive to get to where you're staying. So gadra beans, in fact, I haven't heard of that in India. I don't know if it is there, but at least I didn't come across. It wasn't palatable. And I thought it's okay. I mean, most people who are not vegetarian, the only vegetarian food they knew is the beans. And next day, I created a kind of dislike towards gadra beans. And next day, I was waiting to eat something really delicious. There appeared gadra again. The third house had one thing extra. There's a bit of green beans also. Wherever I went, whether it is in Durban or in Johannesburg, I didn't go to Cape Town at that visit. Gadra followed me. The more I disliked gadra, the further it chased after me. And I used to love idli, dosa, sambar, etc. It's far away. It is only available in India. There wasn't so many Indian restaurants here at that time. There was one or two. Only gatara, gatara. The more you disliked, the further it chased you. And whatever you like gets away from you. That is the reality. If you like a person, if you want to court a person, I'm talking to those who are not married and not in a relationship here. If you really want to fall in love with a particular girl or a boy, the more you run after her, the further she will recede from you. The more you ignore her, play pricey, she will be after you. Don't ask me, how do I know? That's a reality. So says the Shastra. What you like, run away from you, and what you dislike, chase you. Whatever you're obsessed with, difficult to get it. Number two. Number three, if you are governed by your likes and dislikes, we begin to like the opposite of what we have. Understand this very carefully. If you are governed by raga, dvesha, likes and dislikes, you like the opposite of what you have. There is a saying, grass is always greener on the other side. Grass is always greener on the other side. What does it mean, grass is always greener on the other side? That means you love something that you don't have. That's the reality. You know, we Indians, Hindus particularly, the oldest culture, the oldest textbook known to mankind is Vedas, the Hindu Shastra. The entire, our Hindu life is based on Vedas, originated from Vedas, watered down into different levels. But we don't like our culture. But we are very crazy about the Western culture. And what are the Westerners are after? They are very fascinated by Eastern culture. Eastern food, Eastern medicine, Eastern, many, what do you call this, Ayurvedic hospitals, Ayurvedic, universities where they teach traditional Indian medicine, which is the true medicine, which is actually a prevention of disease. Today's medical colleges, one of my dear friend who's a very renowned doctor in Australia said he spent, including all the, after finishing MBBS, that is Bachelor of Medicine, and then he did his Masters and PhD, etc. In his entire 8 to 10 years of study in medical college, in medical, the medical school, he learned everything about diseases, nothing about health. Whereas Ayurveda teaches everything about health and prevents you from falling sick. But we don't, as soon as we fall sick or some kind of, medical science, of course, it's got its own fantastic advantage. So Ayurveda teaches you how to fall sick in the first place, but we are not fascinated by that. We like the opposite of what we have. Eastern culture versus Western culture. We like what we don't, we like the opposite of what we have. Look at our physical appearance. Everything we love the opposite. That's the problem with the likes and dislikes. Our hair, our hair naturally grow downward if you look at the grain. Isn't it? That's the natural direction. When the hair is naturally grow in the downward direction, many boys do everything, they gel it up and make sure that the hair grow upward. They like it opposite. Sometimes when you see You feel like somebody sucked the mango and left it as it is. Looking up. Our skin tone. People who are with dark complexion, many Africans and Indians, they want fair skin. And what do? We import or try everything possible, make our skin complexion fairer. And people with fair skin complexion, European, they tan the skin. They go and lie in the hot sand to tan the skin. We like the opposite of what we have. The statistics shows that in African and Asian countries, people generally have brown or dark skin. The cream that, what do you call this? Fairness cream. Fairness cream runs into billions of dollars of business in European and in Asian and African countries. In European countries, tanning cream runs into billions of dollars. That shows we like the opposite of what we have. People with curly hair pay money to make the hair straight. People with straight hair pay money and make it curly. We like the opposite of what we have. People with short hair add attachment and make it long. People with long hair trim it and make it short. This is the reality. Likes and dislike. When we are governed by likes and dislike, we like the opposite of what we have. Number 4, when you are governed by likes and dislikes, you do not appreciate the blessings. We don't give much value to what we have. You know, in India, in Hindi, there is an expression, there is a proverb, which goes something like this. I hope I get that Hindi right. It goes something like this. Ghar ka murgi dal barabar. Ghar ka murgi dal barabar. Meaning the chicken that is at home is as good as dal. We do not value something that is right in our house. There's a saying, a prophet and a guru is not appreciated in his own town, says Bible. It's always far people who value it. That's why I have to travel to America, to UK, to Australia, New Zealand, India, etc. to get a lot of audience. We like the opposite, something that is beyond. All right. We do not appreciate the value of what we have. That's why many parents looks at some of the children and say, oh, I wish I had children like them. They're so disciplined, they're so good. Not realizing the children looking at the parents and say, I wish I had parents like you. We do not appreciate our blessings, our spouse, our children, our family members, our job. There are people who are working for a company, good, valuable, cushy job, earning a good salary, and they look at some other business, some other company and say, I wish I could get a job there. Not realizing people in that company looking at your company and say, I wish I could get a job here. Number 4, why Bhagavad-Gita calls likes and dislikes are our enemy, because we do not appreciate the blessings of what we have. All right. Number 5, what you don't have in life become more prominent than what you have. Now, these ideas are all very related. When you are governed by likes and dislikes, very often, one thing that you don't have becomes more prominent than 1,000 things that you do have. That is why likes and dislikes are your dead enemy, deadly foe. You know, in Canada, in one of the schools, during the weekend, a few mischievous children played a prank. Monday, the school is going to be open, of course, after the weekend. So what they've done is that they caught hold of 3 goats and they numbered it. goat number 1, goat number 2, goat number 4. They did not put number 3. And they let loose the goat inside the school. And the goat went around the schools and the veranda and wherever that the goat can move around. And the goat dropping and let loose the urine, etc. And when the children came to school, there was stench, urine smell, etc. And it was terrible experience. And then when they look around, when they saw the goat's droppings, the school authorities, the teachers, the headmaster, everybody came to search, and they found goat. Goat number 1, it's numbered. Goat number 2 was numbered, and they found goat number 4. Now they couldn't find goat number 3. And they searched and searched, and they declared a holiday to the school because they could not find where is the goat number 3. And they went around searching and said goat number 3 didn't exist. And they spent several days trying to find out, because small children, it was not a secondary school, it's primary school. It was dangerous for small children. I mean, they find even goat is dangerous. In Africa, even lions are not dangerous. Anyway, so they goat number 3 is missing. The missing goat. This is the nature of the mind. We always chase after the number 3 goat which doesn't exist, and totally ignore the goats number 1, 2, and 4. This is the way it is. So number 5, why likes and dislikes are your enemy is what you don't have in life become prominent, and you ignore 1,000 blessings that we have. And number 6, with the strong likes and dislikes, we miss many opportunities. Now this is crucial for you to understand. When you are overpowered with extreme likes and dislikes, I don't like this, I like this, I don't like this, I like this, you will find it difficult to travel. You will find it difficult to accommodate. You will find it difficult to interact with people. As a result, many fantastic opportunities you miss. Many of our opportunities are lost because of this deadly enemy within us. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, Bhagavad-Gita calls Raga Dvesha as your Nitya Vairi, perpetual enemy. Paripantina, Raga Dvesha, likes and dislikes as your deadly foe. So I am not Raga Dvesha. Na me Dvesha Raga, na me Lobha Moha. And I am not Lobha, greed. Greed is when you have a desire for something and you work towards acquiring the object of desire, and you get the pleasure, you get the joy. When you begin to taste the pleasure, you want more and more and more. And what happened? The more you get, the more you crave for it. And the more you crave for it, the more you get. And in this vicious cycle, we go on chasing. As a result, greed destroys your present happiness. So I am not Lobha, nor am I Moha. Moha means delusion. When you don't have any control over emotion, any emotion for that matter, that leads to delusion. What is delusion? Delusion is when a particular emotion is very prominent, that clouds your reasoning ability, thinking faculty. When you are in a fury, in an anger, in an excessive frame of anger, you can't think. You don't know whom you're talking. You don't know what you're talking. You talk or say things that you don't mean, and you become victim of it. That is called delusion. When a boy, to use the same example that we used earlier, when a boy is obsessed with the girl and is pining to get her attention, He is madly in love with her, head over heels, as they say. And having displayed her interest towards him for a short period of time, maybe 6 months or 1 year, and he's obsessed with her. After 1 year, let's say she changes her mind. Or it can be the other way. Let's say she changes her mind. She doesn't show her affection to the boy. Not only she doesn't show her affection, she begins to court somebody else. She is involved with some other boy. Now, what does this boy feel? What does he go through? A host of emotion, a spectrum of negative emotions he goes through. First of all, he's so angry with her. He is so envious or jealous towards the other boy. Anger, jealousy, hatred. He begins to despise her. Erstwhile affection, the erstwhile love, which was intense, turns into a bitter hatred. And he goes through all these negative emotions: anger, jealousy, hatred, arrogance, pride, fear. He's afraid, will somebody else like him anymore? All host of emotions. When all these negative emotions are playing, his thinking gets clouded. He asks this question: is it really worth living without her? What is life without her? It's not worth it. His own deluded mind asks this question: is it really worth living? And the other aspect of the deluded mind answers. What is the answer? No. And in that delusion, he forgets all the blessings he has. He is the son of very wealthy parents, very noble parents, loving parents, cultured values. He doesn't have to run after for a job after the university. There is a business that he can join. His health is good. Pink of health, tall, handsome hunk. Any girl would want to fall in love with him. He forgets that. He forgets his parents. He forgets that he is number one in the university. He's done so well. Brilliant. He forgets all those blessings that he has. He only thinks about one thing, that I can't get that girl's affection. Is it really worth living? His own deluded mind answers no. And what does he do? He goes and commits suicide. He allows himself to slip into delusion. That is moha. Delusion is the false belief. I'm not that either. I have no pride. Mother. Pride is false pride. When you focus upon one particular or one or two particular merit that you have, and because of that merit, it could be academic brilliance, it could be your health, it could be beauty, it could be money, whatever it is, because of your merit, you look down upon other people who do not have this merit that you have. So when you do look down upon the other people who doesn't have what you have, that is called mother pride. They go through that notion, who I am because how much I have. I am what I am because what I have. That is pride. I am not pride either. I am not envy, matsarya or jealousy. What is jealousy? Jealousy is a feeling of discontentment at somebody else's success and prosperity. Envy and jealousy are two different emotions, but they're very closely connected. Envy is towards the people who are above you. Jealousy is towards people who are your equal. Jealousy is a competition associated with hatred. Jealousy is that spirit of competition associated with the hatred and dislike. So he says, I am not Matsarya. I am not the Purushartha. Na Kama, what do you call this? Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Na Dharmo, na Chartho, na Kamo, na Moksha. I am not Dharma. Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. They are the four Purusharthas that the Shastras describe. All right. The four Purusharthas. Purusharthas are the objectives of life, as it were. He's talking from the mundane sense, in the sense that when you're living, we have to live a life according to Dharma. You got to perform your karma based on Dharma. That means your actions in life must be based on the principles of Dharma. That is the first of the four Purusharthas. Your obligations. Your four obligations. One is Dharma, must be based on your karma. Karma is obligatory duty, and if you break that down further, there are three types of karma. I would say four. All right. They are Nitya karma. I remember to have discussed very recently with you. Just to refresh your memory. Nitya karma is your regular routine activities. Our day-to-day chores that we do. It goes on for weeks after weeks, months after month. They are called Nitya karma. Then you have Naimittika karma. Naimittika karma is occasional special duty. Every now and then there are special obligations. Let's say there is a death in the society among the family that you know, or there is a wedding, or there is an occasion, a pleasant occasion. You got to fulfill that obligated duty. That is called Naimittika karma. And the third one is called Kamya karma. That is permissible, desired enjoyment. You want to go for a holiday. You want to take your family to a restaurant. Or you want to go for a picnic, whatever it is, nothing spiritual about it. Those are innocent pleasures that gives relaxation to your mind. You got to do it. You like to go and play a sport, maybe golf, maybe football or tennis or cricket or whatever it is. That is Kamya karma. Innocent pleasures which relaxes your mind, which you got to perform. That is called recreations, which you got to do. And the fourth one is Nishiddha karma, forbidden action. You got to avoid. Forbidden by two things. Number one, forbidden by the laws of the country. Or number two, it could be forbidden by your conscience. If a particular action is forbidden by your conscience, you got to say no to it. For example, eating meat. It is not illegal. No law, no countries forbid you from eating meat. But if your conscience does not permit you, if the conscience is against the idea of eating meat, you got to say no to it. Because there is adverse consequences to your body, to the environment, to nature, to the animals, everywhere. It is not illegal, but if it is against the conscience. Sometimes, maybe something that is in harmony with the conscience, but it is against the laws of the country. You should abstain from it. That is Nishiddha karma. For example, if you were to go to Saudi Arabia, one of the Gulf countries, they have Sharia law, which is very strict. They decide what kind of clothes you wear. Western clothes, revealing clothes is illegal. And even cultural dresses are illegal. As an Indian lady, you may want to wear a sari and go out. No, you have to wear burqa. Not even sari is not permitted. Everybody has to wear burqa. All right. It is wearing a sari is not against your conscience, but it's against the laws of the country. So those actions that are forbidden by your conscience or forbidden by the laws of the environment or the country, that is called Nishiddha karma. So that is performing these four activity and living your life according to that is called dharma. Then artha. So when you live your life that way, when you are acting on the basis of these principles, you develop artha, wealth. Wealth in many sense. Wealth can be actual money, or wealth can be certain abilities, certain capacities, which you can convert into money, or wealth can be in the form of recognition. Wealth can be you are known in the country, in the world, in the society. So your reputation, that is called brand power. That is why, Lakshmi, goddess Lakshmi, has got Ashta Lakshmi, that is 8 modifications of Lakshmi, 8 manifestations of Lakshmi. So the 8 manifestations of Lakshmi is simply describing the 8 form of wealth. My book called From Gods to Godhead, the meaning and purpose of Hindu gods, rituals and festivals. There's a chapter called Goddess Lakshmi, explains the 8 form of Lakshmi, which is 8 form of wealth, which very much interestingly congruent with what the modern economist calls wealth. Our ancient sages have conceived it then. And one of the form of wealth is the brand power. If you build a brand, your reputation, right? That is called, you gain wealth. So dharma give you artha, and with that you fulfill your desires, kama. Permissible desires are fulfilled. You live your life and you exhaust your kama, your desires. You offload all your desires. So having lived such a life, you achieve moksha, liberation. So dharma, artha, kama and moksha. I am not dharma, I am not artha, I am not kama, I am not moksha. And who am I? Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Na me dvesha ragau na me lobha moho Mado naiva me naiva matsarya bhava Na dharmo na chartho na kamo na moksha Chidananda rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I am that supreme pure consciousness. And so are you, so all of us. And our purpose is to discover that supreme power. We will continue our discussion on Tuesday, next 3 verses, right? Don't go away. We'll conclude with a practice of brief meditation. make the light the dimmest possible to create a meditative mood. Sit with your back, head and straight in one line, slightly bend at the pelvic region so that the center of gravity falls at the center of the base. Your palms on your thighs or interlaced your fingers and placed in front of you. Breathe normally. To allow the mind to settle, we practice some visualization exercises. Visualize a calm and steady lake that you are observing standing on the cliff of a hill. Visualize cloudless sky. Visualize vast expanse of snow. Miles and miles of whiteness everywhere. Visualize an infant in deep sleep so peacefully. Your mind is relatively steady. Now bring your mind to a general concentration by keeping your mind tuned to a sound that you can hear outside. Pick a subtle sound that is constant and continuous and keep your mind tuned to that. Breathe normally in the process. Now, shift your concentration to your breathing. Feel your breath. Feel the cold air as you inhale and warm air as you exhale. Keep your mind tuned to your breathing. Now, we will together chant the mantra Om, and after chanting that dies away into mental whispers and culminate in deep silence, and you absorb the silence. You can practice this exercise longer if you like. Breathe in. Feel the silence within you and around you. Breathe in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you. Best wishes. We'll see you on Tuesday.